What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing a tasty bit on Mad Max and Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. If you didn't know, you're on Tasty Loot Gaming. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
And a tasty bit is typically where we talk about something that's on our mind. Normally real quick, but today we're making a special exception because two really high-profile games came out last Tuesday, and it was last Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And we've been playing them pretty extensively, and I feel like we've played them enough to talk about them. We're gonna avoid spoilers because I've played more Metal Gear Solid than he has, and he's played more Mad Max than I have. If any spoilers were to come out, we'll put a thing up beforehand, so don't worry about that. But yeah, we're gonna get right into that. So let's start off with Mad Max. You've played it more than I have. I played it for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Tell me what you think of it.
I really like it. Car combat is definitely the star of the game.
Definitely.
It's the most fun. Being able to upgrade your car, being able to do a whole bunch of shit to your car that makes it, you can just go ahead and have the biggest badass car ever, just have everything maxed, or you can dial back like your armor or your maxed, or you can dial back like your armor or your grill so that your car's lighter, so it goes faster.
Okay.
There's like a give and take there, and you can have anything from like boarding spikes, so people can't jump onto your car.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I played it for just a little bit. I just got to the car combat aspect of it, and it's really fun. But
yeah, there's
cool how much stuff you can add to the.
Yeah,
vehicles.
there's 3 different weapons when you're doing car shit. 4 if you count the boost and the ramming grill, I guess. But there's the harpoon, which you use. It's like your multi-tool, pretty much.
Yeah, it seems like
I've yanked people out of their cars, like through the windshield, with it. I've ripped off their doors so I can shoot them with the shotgun.
And like we were saying the other day when I was playing it, Avalanche, right? Avalanche Studios makes it, which they make Just Cause 1 and 2, if you didn't know. Games that very much embrace using a grappling hook for everything. So it wasn't that crazy to see a harpoon, essentially a grappling hook, be used in this, and that's not a complaint. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah. Being like once you upgrade the grappling hook, you can actually take down, because you can latch to buildings and gates and shit and back the car up. And
yeah, I thought that was neat too, because like in a lot of games, if you attach something like a one-time deal in the game where it's like an event, and you gotta like, if you drive backwards, if you're stuck on it, you have to like tug real hard to get rid of it. But it seemed like in this there's actually like a physics system, because I didn't get that good of a backup, and I just like the cord was taut or whatever, but like I just kept driving, and I finally just kind of ripped it off. So I thought it was kind of cool.
The physics system definitely has a play in there. And then there's the Thunderpoons, which are the fucking spears that blow up.
Do they call them that?
Yeah. Thunderpoons. And
I hate that fucking name. I know in like lore they call them Thundersticks and shit, so that might just be the nickname for them. Yeah.
I'm assuming, since they call it the Thunderpoon, I don't think it's the spear. I think it's probably, it'll just be like something on the end of your harpoon and just fucking explodes as it hits. But you also get like a little guy in the back of your car at all times named Chum Bucket. He's like the hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, that guy.
And
guy's fucking weird.
Yeah, he's a weird dude, but he when you're standing still, you can have him repair your car. One thing I really liked about the game is it never really deserts you out in the middle of nowhere. Like some games, you like Grand Theft Auto 5, you're in the middle of the desert area or just way off on a highway or something like that, and you accidentally roll your car, and then you got to either walk and find a new car.
Yeah, I like that he'll drive the car to you if you run away from it.
Yeah, you can shoot a flare in the sky and signal him. You can the car is definitely the main focus of that game.
Yeah, from my perspective, before ever playing it, I thought I was getting into a third-person shooter, and it is a third-person game, but it's not a third-person shooter. I found that out. It's more of a third-person brawler, but it's more so a destruction derby
Yeah, it's like a third person, almost like racing.
They put way
game.
more work into the driving and all the stuff that goes onto the cars, and that should have made sense in the first place, but I never thought about it. It's fucking Mad Max. Of course, the vehicles are important. I was thinking you're gonna run around with your fucking shotgun and just shoot people, and that's like minimal. I mean, like altogether throughout my whole playthrough, I got like 7 bullets altogether throughout the whole time.
Ammo's very, very sparse.
And like in those type of games, I'm sure later you'll be able to get more access to bullets or whatever, but I don't feel like the focus is there. The combat system is very Batman-esque. You can, except for you can shoot people in the fucking face. Batman doesn't do that. Yeah, then the car combat. But yeah, that was like the first surprise for me is the controls are really fucking kind of weird. Not in a bad way, they're just different.
Yeah.
Anytime someone breaks the mold nowadays when it comes to controls, it's weird, and that's just because of a standardized control scheme.
Yeah, it's definitely different. You know, like jump, of course, is L2.
But it makes sense for the way the game plays. I literally just went into it wrong, and that's my fault. Because the controls are meant for brawling. It makes sense. I think the jump is a little questionable why it even exists. But I'd rather like a vault button or something.
Yeah, something to climb shit.
The jump is very realistic, and that's
you're literally
useless. You're like you can't even jump over things very well.
Yeah, it's not fucking Mario.
Yeah, or even Uncharted, where you're fucking leaping across chasms. This just like ugh.
Yeah. To me it was just like in testing somewhere someone got stuck, and they're like, fuck, if we just had like a little tiny jump or something like that, they can probably get out. So they added that. Yeah. Because there is a lot of nooks and crannies in the game. Yeah. I never really explore on foot unless it's, unless I need to. Because there's a lot of hulks and shit all around the wasteland. The wasteland's very much alive, which I like too.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I know you didn't get like the mission that you're on now makes it open, everything open up. And that's one of my biggest complaints too. Is the game's fucking open. You do whatever you want whenever the fuck you want to do it. Like, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Very much Just Cause.
But I enjoy just a little bit of focus.
Absolutely. And I lose track of things too easily. If like the storyline of the game is okay so far, it's nothing I'm like holy shit. But in a game that's super open world like that with less focus and the storyline's like not necessarily driving me, I don't really care too much about Chumbucket.
Yeah.
Poor Chumbucket. It's easy for me in those type of games. That's the problem I have in a lot of the earlier Grand Theft Autos. I don't think any of the Grand Theft Autos outside of like 5 really have that great of storylines. They'll have like Scarface-esque storylines, which if I want to see that, I'll go watch fucking Scarface.
Yeah.
Or any gangster flick. But the gameplay was more fun than anything that was trying to drive me in the storyline, and I feel like this game's falling into the same category, but only a little worse because, like you said, it's just so open, do whatever you want. And I can only assume it's like Just Cause 2.
Yeah,
because Just Cause 2, I played like a third of the fucking storyline, and I could care less about it.
Six missions in that game regardless, but I got to like mission 3, and I was like, alright, I'm done. And I just fucking just cruised around, I just destroyed everything.
I played the game for fucking hours, and like... Not even
got nothing done. Like just and like that's the thing, man. Is like I faced like my first boss. It wasn't even a story boss. It was just this gnarly bandit on top of a camp.
Really?
Yeah, and it was like a really intense boss too. Like he was trying to because he hand to hands. He has a fucking it's like a axe bladed thing, and like I was like, all right, I just have to avoid him and beat his ass. But then all these flame things start like shooting up, like near him. I was like, the fuck is going on here? It felt like a really old school kind of boss battle. Yeah, where it gave you a bunch of shit you had to worry about on top of his dumbass charging. Which was kind of neat. But again, that whole battle was optional. I didn't have to do that. Also, you can upgrade Max with almost the same amount of Max, not customization as the Magnum Opus, which is your car, which your car's called, but
that was you could get new outfits and stuff.
Yeah, but the outfits like add armor.
Yeah,
you get new fist things that add more damage to your fists.
I love aesthetic changes, but I also love aesthetic changes that fucking give you something. Like that's it's way better to be like, oh my god, it looks different now, and I got something for it. So.
Yeah, and like I just unlocked it was almost like a Furiosa head. Like his hair's really short, but he has
Really?
the oil stain on his face.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Now, for anybody who's not too familiar with it, this is not in any way connected with Fury Road or the actual saga of canon from 1 to Fury Road. It's its own story of Mad Max. But I do see a lot of things that I feel like they are trying to connect visually with the movie, and it's smart because some people might be walking into this, they're stupid and they're fucking like, oh, it must be Fury Road, the game.
Well,
and it kind of helps with that.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I know that Fury Road, like that's not the same Max from the old ones.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because in the game, it's the same Max as the old ones.
Yeah, it might be an alternate reality. No, Fury Road is an absolute sequel
Oh, really?
to the whole series.
Oh, I
It's
always
not a
thought it was
reboot.
more like an alternate.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well,
It
the
is
game
literally the
is
same
that,
Max
though.
that Mel Gibson was. He's carrying on the same storyline. That's why in the beginning he's having the flashbacks of his kid and his wife being killed.
It's just him further down that rabbit hole of crazy.
He's just been out in the. It's just his continuation of being in the fucking wasteland, and then the next movie coming out is going to be just called The Wasteland. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that's why I liked Fury Road so much. Is it's cool to see what being out in the wasteland full of crazy people has done to him mentally.
Yeah, he was a cop.
Because he was by himself in the desert for so long, and we're not getting into movie talk, but he was in the desert by himself for so long, he became schizophrenic, pretty much. He became crazy, and that starts to wear away slowly as he starts to become less animalistic with people around him and stuff like that. You see it throughout the movie. For such a simplistic storyline, there's a lot of depth to character development and just overall,
And the phenomenal acting really helped.
Absolutely. But yeah, but this is, I guess, just an alternate.
Yeah,
path.
because like the first time he gets out of his car, he's wearing the knee brace. He has the same car and he has the same jacket
Yeah.
as the old school Maxes. So it's I'm assuming it's just a alternate thing, but it's supposed to be the same character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's just like how when the Batman movies by Nolan were coming out, fucking Rocksteady was making their own Batman games, and they're based off of what we know of Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, but the game's neat, very open. That's one of my biggest flaws with it. It doesn't hold your hand with that the fast travel thing. I mean, you can fast travel anywhere from the map, but you fast travel the points, and then the car's really cool. The customization is really neat. The you also get hood ornaments that have like special powers.
Oh, really?
They'll up your handling or they'll up your attack, and you can have one on the front and one in the back. Like the car combat, like I said, is the best thing about that game.
Do you see? You bought the game. I have not bought the game. Do you see yourself beating it?
I'll beat it.
Yeah, I assumed you would. Who would you suggest this game to?
Anybody who likes brawling, car combat, anybody who's trying to scratch that really open world itch who wants to explore. Because,
I would say don't walk into it like I did, thinking it's a third-person shooter. I'm open-minded, so I'll play anything, and I already thought it looked great anyway. So, but don't go into it thinking that it's like a third-person shooter. We're gonna be running around shooting shit like over the shoulder, doing stuff like that. It is very much, at the very least, a brawler, but at the very most, a car combat game. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's very refined, like twisted metal almost.
Yeah, you can tell all the work not all the work, but most of the work and focus went towards car combat, and that's definitely where it
all
shines.
the pieces will come off the fucking cars.
Driving into rocks, fucking shrapnel blows up everywhere. The wasteland looks really fucking cool. I don't think the graphics of the game are necessarily that great. They're not bad, but they're not that great. But I do think visually some of the things in the desert look really cool. I think the sky looks great, which is weird. But in a game like that where you're just looking at fucking desert, you got to look at something. And I think they really kind of realized that.
And for how much it is just desert, I was really surprised at how
Desert's boring,
how variable they could make it. There's some places that I saw I was driving through just canyons and fucking one slip up and I'm like on my top because it's just walls.
Well, I fucking launched up the side of a wall into the sky.
And then
somehow.
So there you can obviously tell there's different areas in the game, even though it is just a desert. There are some there's like the random storms that'll come through, and you like, they're fucking scary. Like they're exactly like the fucking like the storm in the Fury Road. Like lightning's fucking slamming down, and you see people like trying to run to their camps and shit, and fucking. It was truly adrenaline like scared because it was fucking horrifying.
No, it's good.
Like you can see like twisters in the background and shit, and fucking.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, but I mean, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Be fucking careful with how open the world is, because there's a lot of driving in the fucking game. So if you get bored like driving, then this might not be the game for you. Because like I got all the way to a camp that was quite far away from my main camp, and there's cars every once in a while that just have like a shitload of scrap in the fucking back of them. And once you bring them to your camp, you get all that scrap. So like I got to this fucking place way off in the middle of fucking nowhere, and inside the camp was one of those cars, and I was like, fuck, like do I want to take the car now and then come back and destroy the camp, or destroy the camp, maybe the car might not still be there. Yeah, so I took the car, drove it all the way home, came back in my car again, and then I destroyed the camp. But I was like, god damn, that was an extra like 10 fucking minutes of just driving.
When you also played the Last Driver game that came out, a lot of people didn't like that game.
That game was all fucking driving.
Yeah.
But I love that game. San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so Mad Max out now. Pick it up if you like car combat, destruction derby, twist the metal type stuff, and brawling. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's open world. So far, I think has an okay storyline, and yeah, definitely worth checking out for sure.
I'll do it.
So another game came out the exact same day as Mad Max. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Of course, part of the whole prolific fucking series of Metal Gear Solid. I think it's been met with fucking huge acclaim. People have been giving perfect 10s. 9.2s and up, pretty much, unless you're Kotaku and you fucking have to find something,
drastically wrong with it.
Well, just something to be shock value-esque. But anyway, but yeah, I'm about 50 hours into the game. I think I'm about 35% through the game, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I've done a lot of shit in that game. I also free roam a lot. But yeah, you've watched a little bit of it, of me play it. To put it simply, I fucking love the game. I think it's fantastic. I do have a couple complaints, which I'll get into in a little bit. But as for Metal Gear Solid, it does so many things fucking right. I've watched a couple people talk about it. One person, I think, was Colin Moriarty on Kind of Funny Gaming, or Games or whatever, on YouTube, and he was saying that it's not a Metal Gear Solid game. You know what the fuck it was, essentially. And I found that interesting because if he had never played a Metal Gear Solid beforehand, I could understand where he's coming from. But if he has played Metal Gear Solid, which I'm assuming he has, he would understand that almost every single mechanic in the game comes from another Metal Gear Solid, and it's just a conglomerate of
evolution of
just so many ideas that Metal Gear Solid's been playing with for so long that it just feels right at home. I mean, the only difference is a more expanded open area. Metal Gear Solid 1, you could go from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, run back. Technically not open world, but still pretty fucking open.
It almost had like that weird Metroidvania kind of ish, because there's some things you had to go back and do.
Exactly. And Snake Eater had, even though the world wasn't huge, it wasn't Grand Theft Auto, it was still, you could go to different areas at all times and go hunting if you wanted to and a bunch of shit. And then Peace Walker, absolutely. Just let you go wherever the fuck you want in the same style that Phantom Pain is. But yeah, in case you don't know anything about Metal Gear Solid, it is a third-person stealth game. I would argue the stealth game. Kind of defined the genre. I'm not gonna go into the storyline. You can fucking look that up. But yeah, essentially, it's all about infiltration. Metal Gear Solid has evolved to the point where it is a little more open to the idea of being actiony, where you just unload on people and shit, but still rewards you for being more stealthy.
You said that's the only way to get the best.
To get the best scores for doing missions, you have to do it like with absolute stealth.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still get an A if you walk in there with a fucking machine gun and just unload on people.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you did it efficiently and in a timely manner, like, it works out. So, like, no matter your playstyle, you'll still feel like if you did it well enough, you're getting rewarded. I walked in there and I thought I did fucking horrible. I was like, you did great. And I was like, I looked at my stats. I'm like, oh, wow, I guess I did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was being sloppy. But yeah, absolutely Metal Gear Solid game. First off, I want to talk about a couple things that have changed I think are kind of weird. And then everything else is amazing. Metal Gear Solid's always been a very story-driven game, and it's to its detriment to some people, has a lot of cutscenes, which I fucking love. The gameplay's always been great, but the cutscenes are fucking amazing because I'm a huge cinema fan. I love fucking movies, as you know, of course. So I've never had a problem with it. In fact, I love those. Metal Gear Solid 5 has walked away from that. There's significantly less cutscenes, like way fucking less,
than in
insanely 4? Than in any Metal Gear Solid
really?
ever. Yeah. There's less dialogue altogether, like for like storyline purposes. They did streamline the radio system where you'd like call them up and like ask them questions about shit. You literally just point at something, and then if there is something relevant about that, he'll just tell you something about it, which is nice. It's streamlined. It's straightforward. There's less menus involved, but I do absolutely, if anything, in the game that I am slightly upset about is I do miss the cutscenes. And I feel like a lot of people do too, and a lot of the reviews I've been reading, people say that the storyline feels like it's missing something, and I think that's probably what it is. But outside of that, the shooting mechanics are the best they've ever been. The stealth is so still deep, but so streamlined that you can do so much shit at once, just on the fly, that it's like fucking butter. That very Kojima Japanese humor is still there, which I love. It gives it that charm. The micromanagement systems in the game, you can build your own base. Not only can you, you have to build your own base, mother base, and you accrue people and materials and money, and you just keep building that up and making it like this whole empire, which is kind of neat, which is really fucking cool. Shitloads of fucking unlocks. So many things unlock. It'll fucking make your mind numb. Buddy system, which is brand new to Metal Gear Solid. I mean, Metal Gear Solid's always, in some parts of the games, had somebody with you that you're slightly like escorting, but now you got like a buddy system where you can like have a horse who you can upgrade and get new things for. Quiet, who's a sniper, who will shoot people for you, essentially. You can upgrade her weapons and outfits, and a couple other ones I won't get into. But yeah, I mean, I could go on for days. You saw it a little bit. What'd you think?
Full disclosure, I've played about 6 or 7 hours of Mad Max, and I've only watched maybe an hour or two of you playing the Phantom Pain. I want to go out and play the Phantom Pain more than I want to go home and play Mad Max. It's such a...
I was playing Mad Max. I want to play Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
not because Mad Max sucks, just because Metal Gear Solid's fucking so
it's
good.
just and like that's, I'm not saying anything bad about Mad Max. As you all
it was
know,
ballsy for them to release it.
No shit.
On the same fucking day.
As you all know, I'm a big fan of The Witcher 3, and I thought I wanted to stop playing games so I can play the Witcher 3. There was nothing bad about those games. I was just enjoying it more.
You're just invested in that, yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And maybe I'm just not far enough into Mad Max to be that taken by it. But as of right now, I almost want to force myself to finish Mad Max. I feel like I never will if I go play the Phantom Pain.
Yeah. I could not try and play anything right now because I'm so invested in Metal Gear Solid. That's all I want to do. So it's not even fair for me to even... Like, I was playing a shitload of Death Trap about a week ago, and I'm not going to touch it right now. Because I mean, I'm not going to try and share the time. I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid. I have so much shit to still do in the game. I want to fucking beat it. I love the storyline. This is like the missing link in Metal Gear Solid lore.
It's between between
Peace
Big Boss
Walker
and where Solid Snake comes in.
Yes, it's between Peace Walker, which is after 3, and the first Metal Gear game. So it kind of it's finally made that full loop. And 4 was such a complete ending to the series that literally this is what was left without kind of diluting the series and making it just more and more stupid fucking Metal Gear Rising shit. I didn't like that game. But yeah, I'm just so happy with the praise it's getting, because Metal Gear Solid's always been really popular, but it's been popular amongst niche crowds. I feel like a lot of people, and 4 was actually a lot more successful than I thought it'd be. But they sell well, but it's Metal Gear Solid fans that are like really fucking buying them and shit like that. Whereas like right now, all these people I've never even seen them play a Metal Gear Solid before are like, we're not only like hyped for this, but like they're playing it now and they fucking just love it.
Chevy, I see he plays it a lot.
Chevy's really into it. He's played some of the older ones, but
he's always usually watched you play them.
Definitely.
Just
and
to
then,
get the story.
Patrick fucking just bought it. I think around the first day. He's loving it. Another Patrick that Chevy knows from his work, he fucking loves it. Like, everyone I know who's played it loves it, and everyone I know who fucking started the game, the intro sequence, which you haven't seen, is fucking insane, and it's really just shows off the engine.
Yeah, I really need to, because like it's isn't the intro sequence like, it's a little while, isn't it? I always heard it was like an hour long.
It's pretty long.
Yeah. So like I need to sit down and do it like on a weekend. Probably tomorrow I'm probably going to start playing.
I will say, it's going to get you invested though, because everyone I know who after they play it, they just want to keep playing, because it's so fucking insane.
Yeah. So I'm kind of up shit crick right now. But I did that. I started playing Mad Max so we can actually talk about.
Yeah.
Because
that was originally the plan, is we want to play each game and kind of get a better rounded.
Bring what
invest
we can
my
to the
time,
table.
invest your time, have more to talk about.
And now I'm pissed that I have to almost invest all my time into Mad Max until I finish it. Not pissed. The game, like I said, the game's not bad. The game's not bad at all. It's just
I'm gonna be stoked because I am absolutely gonna beat Metal Gear Solid 5. Absolutely, probably this week. And you'll beat Mad Max, so we can have a retrospective afterwards. Obviously, try and keep spoilers out. Maybe we'll do a spoiler talk too once we've both done. Well, you can spoil Mad Max all day to me. I don't care. But Metal Gear Solid, I don't want to spoil that for anybody. But yeah, we'll definitely have to beat those games and talk about them. But yeah, just like the amount of shit in Metal Gear Solid 5 is insane. Like you have 2 open areas, Afghanistan and Africa, which are completely different terrains. You have multiple types of camouflages that you unlock throughout the game as you play, and they work better. Some work better in greenery, some work better on sand, some work better on rocks, which brings me back to Metal Gear Solid 3 when you could change your camo out a lot. There's a bunch of like really interesting
well, they streamlined the shit out of that in 4 because just anything you got next to, you just kind of turn into that camo.
It was so fucking nice. But it worked for that gameplay. Now, this one of the things I fucking love about this game is they have the storyline missions, which in an open world they essentially get like executed as soon as you enter a certain area. So I normally can tell where something's going to happen because it kind of funnels you in there, which is fine because they used to be kind of linear. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get to the cool shit. But you can also do side ops, which essentially just give you more resources, money, GMP, and soldiers to send back to Mother Base. But they all have their own scenarios. They're all interesting. You can change the time when you enter the place. The thing I love about it, too, is I'm a huge fan of the old like Rainbow Six games where you can pick like one of 3 doors to enter. I always love that freedom to be like, oh, we're gonna enter from the back door as opposed to like the balcony. This you can literally, it brings me back to that, but even more because you can approach a situation any fucking way you want.
Yeah.
You can like stealth in, never be seen. You can stealth in and knock people out. You can stealth in and fucking kill everybody. You can fucking just run in there just unloading, as you watched me just shooting fucking grenades with a shotgun, fucking shooting people. Yeah. You can send a helicopter in there, just unload on everybody and just run in there and still not be seen while they're all fighting that fucking thing.
Yeah, because they don't know where that helicopter came
Exactly.
One
you
thing
can have quiet fucking snipe people out. Like, there's just so many fucking options. It's stupid.
The thing I've really noticed about it, and a lot of games fucking approach the situation any way you want, but usually one way is always penalized than like another way.
There's always one way that's the best. Absolutely.
Yeah, and in this game, it's kind of, I mean, stealth is obviously the best, but because it's Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop you from, like, if there's a mission that's just super fucking hard, and you're like, all right, I don't want to fuck with this, and you just bring in, something that just destroys shit, like a grenade launcher or something like that. I mean, just wreak havoc on the camp.
One thing that fucking Deus Ex could learn from this too is you run into boss battles that you don't necessarily have to fight through.
Oh, really?
And I won't say anything more than that. I watched a review where he said that too. He's like, there's whole boss battles you could even just sneak past if you wanted to. I was like, what the fuck's that mean? Like, you just crawl out of there? And kind of, but like, there's all these different scenarios for boss battles. And then there's boss battles that you kind of have to do, but there's different ways to go about them. And I love that because not only, you're not just locked into a one-dimensional boss battle where it's like, shoot his weak armor plating.
Mm-hmm.
There's like just different ways to go about it. That is also though one of the weaknesses I would say of the game, though, in my opinion. And obviously you haven't done it, but I think all the boss battles are really fucking easy. It's not bad. It's just Metal Gear Solid's had some pretty fucking gnarly bosses. So to play this one, I feel like most of them I run in, I run out, and I'm done with them. And it was neat, it was cool, but I always get an S on boss battles on all my rankings. If you look at my rankings, it's like A B A A A B B B A A C A A B B B, and then like an S, and that's always a boss battle. I always get S's on boss battles. It's because they're so fucking they're so straightforward and not, I don't want to call them simple because they're fun, but they're not hard.
Well, so like I had. The bosses in 4 were pretty gnarly.
I've watched people fucking attempt bosses on 4 for the first time like 4 or 5 times in a row.
And then the bosses in 1 and 2 were, to me, fairly simple.
Psycho Mantis, I would argue most people have problems with until you find out how to beat him. Then it's easy. But it's more. That was more of a fucking
just a mind
this
fuck.
Like meta fucking whole like. See what how inventive we can be with a boss battle.
Yeah,
and they did. Blew my mind.
And then 3 is where they start to get a little more difficult, in my opinion.
3 had some pretty gnarly
like
ones.
The
yeah.
Fury. Wait, that was the spaceship guy.
No,
right?
he was easy for me. I literally unloaded on that fucking idiot.
I'm thinking of
the Fear was kind of annoying.
The bee guy, because like you were swimming around in water, and then you had you had to get up and shoot him, and then he'd shoot bees at you, and you had to jump back in the water.
Yeah. Once you get the system down, though, it's kind of like Dark Souls. You just kind of just understand how to do it at that point. But this one, you literally just like run in, you just instantly know what you gotta fucking do, you do it, and it was fun, but you're not like, oh, it's a challenge. It's almost simplified. Like, a lot of the things
like
in the game
maybe just want you to experience the story more, kind of, instead of just dealing with these fucking...
It doesn't even portray the story as well as the older games would have. So.
Does it have unique characters, like unique bosses,
Absolutely.
like the rest of them do?
Absolutely, but it has less.
Oh, really?
Much less. A lot of the games have like 5 to 7 guys or girls. This one...
Metal Gear Solid had only Metal Gear Solid 4 had only... Well, there was 4 in that original group of girls.
There's the Beauty and the Beast squad, and then there's... Vamp, and then there's you gotta fight the geckos, which sometimes is like a boss. You gotta fight Ray, which is fucking amazing. If you haven't played 4 and we're spoiling this for you, go fucking play it. It's amazing. It's a masterpiece in gaming. And it's a lesson on how to fucking actually complete something and just be done with it perfectly. And then I mean you I also think that the frogs, is that their names? Fuck, I can't believe I forgot that. They aren't bosses necessarily, but they are like a very unique character. Just like Metal Gear Solid 5
weird
has the people who like jump around and do like the parkour shit, which are really neat.
I think they can hang on walls. Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 has its own special group of dudes that I'm not going to talk about, which fucking drive me nuts. I wrecked them though. Fucking killed the shit out of them. He was like, I can't believe you killed all of them. They fucking with the wrong snake. But yeah, no, I can just talk fucking for days about how great this game is. I want to play it right now, just talking about it. Also, there is an online component that kind of borrows from the Dark Souls series where you can invade somebody's mother base, take their resources, but if they come to their base and fucking murder your ass trying to take their shit, they get all the guys you brought with them. And, yes, it's kind of a risk versus reward thing. You also are able to get more resources if you opt into that online mode. You can play without that if you don't want to worry about people stealing your shit. But the good thing about it is you build a separate area for them to steal from, so it's not you're not going to lose everything. I almost felt like I shouldn't be talking about that, but I feel like it might make people want to actually try the mode if I do tell you that you're not going to lose all your shit. And then MGO, Metal Gear Online, will be released later, I believe, in 3 weeks or something. Really excited for that because MGO, this is the third iteration of it. It came out originally for Snake Eater, or the remake of it, I don't remember. But they had an online mode that I fucking loved, did not do well in the States. And then they re-released it for Metal Gear Solid 4, which I loved it then again, but no community because nobody wanted to play it. You know, people playing Call of Duty, that's fine. But yeah, so they're releasing it again. They had an American team work on it because, you know, the American team's going to understand American fucking demographics and what we want from multiplayer.
Americanized it a little bit.
So it looks really cool. Can't wait for that to come out. And I'm excited about that because some people are bitching about it. So it's incomplete. And absolutely, I agree with that. But when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, the online didn't come out with it.
It was incomplete.
And at first I was like, man, I really want to play that. But I got to beat the fucking game, really enjoy it. And at the time where I would have been like, I'm done with this. That came out, and it was this whole other fucking experience. And I got to play that. So I feel like I'm going to beat Metal Gear Solid 5, and I'm going to beat it another, like, 9 times. Because I'll fucking beat that game 1,000 times. And then MGO's going to come out, and I'm going to play the shit out of that. Because it looks dope.
Yeah, I'm really glad we were able to kind of touch base on both games.
Yeah. Both really good games. If I would suggest one or the other, I would definitely suggest Metal Gear Solid. I feel like it's just a fucking stellar game. I would suggest it to people who like action, people who like stealth games, people who like story-driven games. If you're like just into RPGs or something like that, check it out because it has very rich and alive characters and lore. But you know, you might not particularly be into how fucking intense some situations can get, which they can get very intense. The game has a great soundtrack. But yeah, other than that, like, yeah, it's a great game. Definitely check it out. But not to downplay Mad Max. I think Mad Max is also a really fun game. I think it's just a little more niche, which is really weird to say about Metal Gear Solid because Metal Gear Solid years ago would have said the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Phantom Pain seems to cater to anything that
it's
anybody
open to everybody. It's really crazy.
Yeah,
without fucking taking away from
its original
the fan base.
Yeah. If I had to recommend one of the two, I'd recommend the Phantom Pain also. Just because Mad Max is great in its own right. It is just it's going to hit a smaller crowd than what the Phantom Pain can. Honestly, I mean that's pretty much just that. Yeah.
I think we should cut it there though. We'll probably do another episode a couple weeks from now, kind of giving our lasting impressions of both games. I think these are games that are big. And are worth talking about again after we've actually completed them. But as of now, we're both really enjoying both games. And yeah, I think it's going to do it for our Tasty Bit. It ran really fucking long today, but for obvious reasons. But as always, thank you for watching Tasty Loot Gaming. My name's Seth.
I'm Josh.
And we'll see you in the next episode.